The first thing we're going to do is pick our pieces. So we're looking for a clear with no knots. I'd like to get one light and one dark. The difference. See, that's before and that's after the planer, and you can see how it pops the grain and makes it perfectly smooth. And now we can see what we're working with, and we'll cut these knots out. We'll cut these irregular pieces out. These will become cutting boards or whatever, and then we'll just use the clear. Now we've chosen our grains, and we're going to cut our blocks about 3 or 4 inches long, so we have plenty to work with. This is what we'll use to build our box. With pieces like this, where we have all the knots, that'll be a cutting board. That'll be a cutting board. So we've removed all the knots. We have nice 3.5 inch by 1 inch blocks to work with. That's still way too thick for any sort of jewelry or silverware box. So I'm going to try and split this down the middle and then plane it. And we'll have 3/8 inch boards to work with for constructing our box. And I'll leave some thicker for constructing the doors. And I'll leave some thicker for constructing the molding. So I have the 4 boards picked out for the first box, and I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll have a box on the wall that has another box inside of it that holds all the silverware, so that you can just grab all the silverware, set it in the middle of the table and lay it out rather than having to go back and forth. But the frame will remain hung on the wall just like a picture, with a couple of glass doors. So the next step then is to, I guess we're going to notch out a 1/4 inch so that the hardwood ply can go in the back of the box, and we want that to sit seamlessly inside of the box frame. So we'll just take out a little square so that that fits. We'll build the box, glue it together, and let it dry overnight. So now you can see we've dadoed out these boards so that the hardwood ply fits directly in there, and that will be the back. That will be what's put to the wall, and this is what you'll see from the side. So we've got our hardwood plywood cut. We've got our bottom and top rail cut, and you notice they're dadoed out. And we'd like this side rail to overlap and land here, so that the end grain shows top and bottom and not from the side. So in order to get those two to line up perfectly, we're going to take this guy, and I've just cut a blank here, and we're going to line them up where we want them, make a pencil mark. Now the way we do that is we set our blade depth so that it doesn't go past the lip of this dado. It should be perfect. And we set the fence the width of the wood. Once we get that, we remove all that material, dado it out with your slide miter. So we're going to glue and brad this frame together. The glue is the structural element, but we use the brads just so that we can carry on. See over there? See, we keep them in a sand paddock at night, and that it gives the grass a chance to rest. And then we move them from paddock to paddock for fresh grass. And then we'll fill those holes with glue and sand. We won't use putty, because if we put glue and then sand this wood grain, it's the exact same color. Looks like I built it. So like I said, this is going to sit on the wall, and it'll have a decorative molding here, decorative molding here. Then we'll have a board in here that the box inside full of silverware will go up, in, and down. So it will lock in just on its own. Then when you want to take the silverware to the table, you'll take this box out and take it to the table. These ledges that we were talking about, we'll just put a little glue and clamp them. Always use plastic clamps on wood if you can, as they don't leave a mark. Now with the same machine I was running earlier, the planer, I have a blade that makes this crown. So you see I cut it out of a square stock, and then I cut whatever I want of this detail out of the stock. And I think in your house you had about a 3-inch crown, and I can come pretty close to that. And we don't want this thing to look too gaudy. So I will probably cut here and here. So we've made a small crown out of that same cypress. It's only been about 10 minutes, and we can already take these clamps off. And I'm thinking we'll do this on the bottom, so that you see that crown revealing, and then we'll cap this, and we'll do the same thing on the top. Now we've put the crown on the bottom, and we're going to do the same thing on the top, and we're going to match those reveals so that you don't see that this is thicker than that. So down here we're going to leave an 1/8 inch reveal, and we're going to do the same thing up here. We're going to leave that same 1/8 inch, and you won't see what we did to keep the silverware drawer in. Okay, so we've got our crown done, and what we're going to do now is cap them top and bottom with a bull nose. We don't leave that open because we're not Home Cheapo.